for our main event of the evening. The problem child, Jake Paul. Nathan Diaz.
On the night social media nearly collapsed, the highly anticipated crossover bout between Gervonta Tank Davis and Jake Paul finally took place, and it failed to deliver the excitement many fans expected. Beneath the intense DAZN spotlight and surrounded by enormous hype, the YouTuber-turned-boxer emerged with a majority decision victory, once again sending shockwaves through the boxing world. This contest was far less about tactical exchanges and far more about a clear imbalance in power. A round-by-round breakdown is necessary, because this fight exposed the harsh reality of what occurs when a natural cruiserweight steps in against a legendary lightweight.
Fight is over. It's ready for war. Live from Dallas, Texas, it's go time!
From the opening seconds, the contrast was obvious. Jake Paul appeared enormous, standing across from Tank. The difference in size wasn't just noticeable, it was impossible to ignore.
Get this face off, Henry. What are your thoughts here?
You're hearing that shit from me. That's cringe. In some weird way, I kind of like
cringe about it.
He's trying to big man the smaller guy, who the smaller guy to me is dangerous. I think Tank Davis is going to put the hands on him, but I like it, bro. I will say something about Jake Paul. He's brought a lot of attention to boxing. Tank Davis guaranteed $40 million.
If you were in that position, would you fight Jake Paul?
Oh, hell yeah. You got to give Jake Paul his flowers. Mike Tyson, Anderson Silva, Nate Diaz.
Jake Paul is a disruptor, and he's done a phenomenal job at that. You get big and famous enough to where they would just hand you the title shot and completely throw out the ranking system.
If Jake Paul was to do that, I think that'd be the greatest sports accomplishment in history. Going from a Disney Channel kid to a YouTuber to becoming a world champion.
Jake's jab became an issue right away. From the very start, it kept Tank at a distance and disrupted his rhythm. Tank attempted to dip low and work his way inside, but Jake consistently shut that down. This was exactly what analysts have been warning about for weeks. Even Terrence Crawford had mentioned it. Facing someone with that level of size advantage is risky. Not because Jake was the superior technician, but because basic physical realities inevitably come into play.
Happened with a 135-pounder going up against a 200-pounder. You know, if it's scripted, then it's going to be good for the fans to watch.
What do you mean by scripted? Like rigged?
Yeah, like scripted. Like,
but none of those guys want a fucking L, right?
I think it's not a real fight. I think it's because it can't be a real fight because they ain't in the same weight. So it'd be more like an exhibition.
I think it is an exhibition, but do you think they're like, but not one person saying like, yo, I'm going to fucking throw the match. You think?
I don't think.
Or you never know?
Yeah, I think they're going to go in there and spar. I don't think it's going to be you trying to kill me or I'm trying to kill you. You know, I think it's let's go in here and make this money. You know, it's more of a business tactic than anything.
Had to choose someone to win that fight. Who do you think wins?
Honestly, I think Jake by youth.
Really?
Yeah.
Tank showed sharp footwork early on, but every time he attempted to step into range, Jake's jab was there to stop him. In the second round, Tank increased his pressure, clearly trying to send a message. He let his hands go with combinations, looking to test Jake's defense. To his credit, Jake remained calm and disciplined. His jab, along with well-timed body shots, began to slow Tank's momentum. Tank may have underestimated Jake, and he's probably wishing now he hadn't dismissed him so casually.
What do you think of Jake?
Clown.
Yeah.
He's a clown.
Would you look at it as a joke if someone, if your team was like, yo, we want you to fight Jake Paul? Would you be like, come on, man?
I laugh at him. Like, you want me to fight him?
You think it'll ever come to the point where you're going to mix into, I mean, you're obviously doing the real shit, but will it ever mix into the point where the money's big enough?
Yeah, would you ever
to
do a
take...
fight like that?
I feel as though in my career, I can't do that right now.
Jake absorbed Tank's shots as if they carried very little impact, and the reason was obvious. The size gap told the whole story. Jake typically weighs close to 200 pounds, while Tank, even at full hydration, struggles to reach 145. Whenever Jake connected, Tank immediately felt the effect. When Tank landed cleanly, Jake barely reacted. And that outcome was exactly what many people had predicted beforehand.
Tank Davis fight got moved to Miami.
I think Jake wins.
Jake's just so big, dude.
I think Jake wins.
This is different because it's similar. It's similar to Logan versus Mayweather, but Jake Paul now obviously is way more advanced than where Logan was at that moment in time.
I mean,
Gervonta's fucking sick.
I mean, yeah, no, but dude,
Did you ever watch his highlights?
Jake can
He's
crack,
nasty,
man.
He's so sick.
He's
I love
nasty.
that guy, bro.
By the fourth round, Tank began to show clear signs of fatigue. That's when Mike Perry's earlier comments started to resonate with viewers. Weeks before the bout, Perry had been blunt about it. He suggested that Tank no longer had the same passion for boxing. In the ring, he didn't appear fully dialed in. He looked more like someone completing an obligation than a fighter chasing greatness.
Tank is big. Tank has a lot of skill, but I don't think he's the same Tank that we saw the most incredible knockouts. We saw him, I mean, Lamont Roach performed great. They went to draw, and, you know, I just don't know. And Tank walked away. I don't know if he loves it enough to beat a guy who outweighs him by 80 to 100 pounds.
At the same time, Jake was doing exactly what most people anticipated, leaning on his size and strength to control the fight. To Tank's credit, he stayed on his feet throughout, but it was clear the punishment was adding up. With each passing round, Jake's self-belief continued to grow, though that confidence had been there long before they ever stepped into the ring.
I'm fighting Gervonta Davis on Netflix. Let's go. People think that he could actually beat me, and people think he could outbox me, and he's so powerful and this and that. That's what makes it a good fight. November 14th, Netflix.
In the seventh round, Tank finally put together a few solid moments. He began slipping Jake's jab more effectively and landed several sharp left hands over the top. But even when those punches landed clean, Jake barely reacted. He smiled and kept pressing forward. That's when it became clear that Tank's power, the same power that overwhelms fighters in his own division, simply didn't translate upward. Jake started pushing the pace. There was no more measuring distance or easing into exchanges. He began hunting, throwing combinations, and forcing Tank to retreat. At that point, Tank looked more focused on lasting the round than turning the fight around. Maybe all that sparring with Shakur Stevenson didn't make the difference people expected.
Opponent to replicate something that obviously, you know, there's nobody else out there that's Tank Davis. How do you prepare for a guy that's different stature-wise?
Yeah, no, we have world champions. Raymond Ford in the 130-pound weight class. We got Montana Lovin. Shakur Stevenson is coming in this week. So just sparring against guys on their level and people who have, you know, been doing this their whole entire lives. But we're really focusing on speed and not as much on power. I'm not doing as much like weightlifting and all of that stuff. I'm actually trying to like lose some muscle so that I have less weight and so that my punches are coming off faster.
Each time Jake connected, the ropes shook and the crowd erupted. It was the exact scenario Dana White had warned about years earlier. Dana put it plainly, Jake should be facing opponents closer to his own size, because matchups like this, no matter how exciting they appear on the surface, are fundamentally uneven.
Is the burnt bridge with my brother unfixable?
I don't hate your brother. You guys need to fight guys you're the same size. When you fought Floyd, you are massive. He did hit you with a fucking bomb, and you fucking ate it. He's going to fight Gervonta Davis.
Who do you got?
Gervonta, I think, hits way harder than Floyd, but he's too small. Your brother's going to be able to get inside on him, put his weight on him, tie him up.
I hear your critique on fighting guys the same size as you. Is that why you guys wouldn't let me fight Conor?
Yeah, you're fucking huge. Conor weighs 145 pounds, 155 pounds.
Yeah, but he says he could beat me.
By the eighth round, Tank appeared completely drained. His face showed visible damage, and his posture told the story. Mentally, he didn't seem engaged anymore, something Tim Bradley had predicted before the fight. Bradley said Tank would be mentally absent that night, and as the rounds passed, that assessment seemed spot on.
It's done. Tank is hung him up, shoes off, get the bag, put a plaque up, he done. Tank is done.
When you say done, you mean like not fighting anymore?
Tank is checked out mentally. Tank is gone mentally. Tank looking for the big bag of Jake Paul, Pacquiao, something sort, and he's looking to, hey, I'll see you later. Tank is standing. He's not gonna fight Shakur Stevenson at all. At all. I don't care how much money Turkey offered, give him 4 Lamborghinis, whatever. Tank ain't taking that fight.
By the ninth round, Jake began to show off, clearly confident he had the fight under control. Ryan Garcia had cautioned fans ahead of time, saying this matchup would be a mismatch because casual viewers often overlook the impact of weight differences, and he was correct. Many assumed Tank, the experienced boxer, would overpower the YouTuber, but the fight was never truly even, neither in terms of size nor punching power.
Yeah, bro, that's a fucking disgrace of a fight.
Yeah.
You know it. Just like the Mike Tyson, low-key was a disgrace, but we accepted it. But
Yeah.
he was 60 years old. I mean, the casuals don't see the weight difference. They see Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis.
Yeah.
And if Gervonta Davis doesn't fuck up Jake Paul, they're going to think Jake Paul is some pound-for-pound champion type of fighter.
Yeah.
Gervonta Davis, he's actually really small. Like, when I fought him, like, he's small.
Yeah.
So I just think it's a very unfair fight.
The final round belonged entirely to Jake. He used his jab, controlled the distance, and avoided taking any unnecessary risks. Tank made a final effort to turn things around, but it fell short. When the bell rang, there was no doubt in anyone's mind who had come out on top. Jake Paul had secured the victory.
So it is the day after Jake Paul versus Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. My voice is damn near gone. We just had one of the best streams I've had in a very long time, about 18 hours, supposed to have been 24, but we had some technical difficulties. Thank you, everybody that showed up and showed out. It was me, my lady. It was fun reactions. We had a blast. The entire stream was awesome, so thank you guys for that. But today, let's talk about the Jake Paul and Julio Cesar.
Jake celebrated, naturally, but deep down, even his most loyal fans understood that this was a contest determined more by physical advantage than by a level playing field. It was a showcase fueled by hype, not a pure test of boxing skill. As numerous critics pointed out after the fight, this wasn't the type of matchup the sport truly needed.
Garcia said that boxing is turning into the WWE.
Is that like a bad thing? The WWE is a $12 billion company.
I think he wants to get in there.
I think he's just mad that I'm going to get an opportunity to beat Tank, and he obviously got knocked out and embarrassed, so his insecurities are coming out.
The real story was the size difference. Jake's jab, strength, and overall physical presence proved overwhelming. Tank's skill and quickness simply weren't enough to counter the reality of facing a man nearly 60 pounds heavier.
Jake Paul versus Gervonta Davis. Does Davis have a chance?
Fuck no. Gervonta is a fucking great boxer, but he ain't gonna do shit to fucking Jake Paul.
So you got Jake Paul by knockout, or?
No, I don't got anybody, but I don't think
He's just too small?
I don't want to beat up somebody that small. I don't want to, you know what I'm saying?
What do you think of the fight?
I don't want to lose to somebody that. There's no point in the fight. It's a great fight, actually. I'm not hating on the fight, but I think my thoughts on it is let's watch and see what happens.
Even so, Jake's growth can't be ignored. He's transformed from a YouTuber into a fighter capable of holding his own against seasoned professionals. And while this victory may not quiet all of his critics, it certainly adds another chapter to his extraordinary boxing journey.
It's because I proved everyone wrong. Reminder, the most hated and most criticized boxer in the sport of boxing before they loved him was Muhammad Ali. So I'm the anti-hero, and people will love me soon enough once they realize what I've done for this sport and who I truly am. But it doesn't bother me at the end of the day, because when you're at the top, people are clawing to rip you down, and that's just the way the game goes.
If there's one thing Jake excels at, it's staying in the public eye. He didn't wait long to hint at what might be the most shocking next step in his career, a potential bout with Francis Ngannou. Reports say Jake's team has already made contact to see if Ngannou would even consider stepping into the ring with him. On paper, it seems unbelievable. Ngannou is a heavyweight with enormous power and exceptional strength. Jake is still adapting to fighting larger opponents. But then again, his career has been built on defying expectations and proving doubters wrong.
Francis could have sex with you if he wanted to.
If you want to make money, fight Jake Paul. I would love for him and Francis too.
No,
Francis
no.
would Heard him.
Billy Fresh that said this. Francis could have sex with you if you wanted to.
No.
Jake Paul,
Jesus
no.
Christ.
Don't do it.
It's ruined my appetite. I be thinking of Francis Ngannou and Lane Pipe, dude.
No, pause, Henry. Relax. Don't take it that far.
I mean, you said it, bro.
If Francis somehow one of his paws, one of his mittens touch anywhere near here, no, that's not what you want.
The matchup seems unlikely, yet it's already sparking conversations online. And Jake knows better than anyone how to capitalize on that kind of attention. If that wasn't enough, the newest rumor circulating in the boxing world is that Jake has also been challenging Anthony Joshua. Yes, that Anthony Joshua.
I want to fight Anthony Joshua exclusive because I know that I will beat Anthony Joshua. I know I will beat. Knocked out, right? Yeah. He doesn't have a chin and he has no skill and he's stiff. And I love you, Anthony. We're friends. But I want to fight you. I will beat Canelo. I will beat a lot of people. I will not beat David Benavidez.
Several insiders say Jake has been angling for a possible fight in the UK, hinting that he could stun fans once more. It sounds outrageous, but anyone familiar with how Jake works knows this is precisely the kind of headline he thrives on.
He's trying to get anyone to fight now.
Yeah,
Francis Ngannou, Ryan Garcia, AJ.
We're hearing AJ again.
Yeah.
Maybe Eddie Hearn would have to, just admit defeat and say, fine, it happens on Netflix, but it's an absolute king's ransom.
It's yeah. Oh,
it's a king's ransom.
Yeah, it's, if I'm AJ, like I used to remember saying at the time, like, don't do it, it's rubbish, doesn't help your career. Ade, shut up. It's you're getting gifted 70, 80 million for a sparring session.
And it would do whatever views Tank Davis versus Jake Paul does, triple them for AJ.
It would do bigger than Canelo Crawford.
I know it would. It would do bigger than Canelo Crawford.
Yeah, I think it would do bigger than Canelo Crawford.
It would do much bigger.
Yeah, because every single man, woman, child over here will watch it.
Everyone over here would watch it. The fact that it's a heavyweight, it's not a lightweight.
Yeah, it's a fight he's supposed to lose. Because everyone wants to see Jake Paul get chinned, right?
Oh, yeah.
That's all. That's what everyone wants to see.
Yeah,
so there'll be a queue of people queuing up with their Netflix account, just waiting to see if this big monster can chin him.
A showdown with Joshua would be the most lucrative bout of Jake's career, but also the riskiest. Still, Jake has made it clear he's done with influencer-style matchups. Now, he's chasing opponents who make headlines, fights designed to dominate the internet.
And so I like the challenge. People, that's the criticism. Fight someone in their prime who's a beast. I think people just want to see me lose. That's really what the message is behind it all. And Anthony Joshua is an insane fight, but I want that challenge. We've been DMing back and forth. He wants to make it happen. He called me up, and it's looking very likely for next year.
Tank, meanwhile, needs a period of reflection. Time to reconsider his direction. This fight may have brought a paycheck, but it also served as a reality check. He remains one of the most talented fighters globally, yet this defeat in front of millions is a hard pill to swallow. Many experts suggest he return to his weight class, rebuild his momentum, and reestablish himself as the fighter the world knows he can be.
Davis. Bad dude. See, what I like about Tank is Tank brings something different. Back in the days, everybody had something. Muhammad Ali was a mover boxer. George was a puncher. Ernest Shavers was a puncher. Everybody had something they brought to the table. Larry Holmes had a jab. Mike Weaver had overhand right. You know what I'm saying? Everybody has something. That division now is full, and Tank having to be the knockout guy of the division. Mm-hmm. He the one with the main knockout power. Garcia has it too, but Tank got that real knockout power that, like, if Tank hit one of them clean, usually they gonna have a problem. Mm-hmm. So it's like, I like Tank. Every now and then, I think when he knows he can beat somebody, he probably don't lock in as hard, but I think when they bring challenges, he locks in. Yeah, he fights to the level of his competition. He was doing that a lot. And he got to be careful of that. 2 fights ago, he was really doing that. You feel me? So you got to be careful of that, because if you come in and think somebody is not at your level and you underestimate them, it can get you beat. So that's the only thing I think you got to be careful of. Other than that, Tank is a really good fighter.